In a world shrouded in darkness, a young nun confronts her deepest fears. She's haunted by scary visions and sets off on a dangerous journey where she must choose between good and evil. Imagine you're going on a really interesting adventure in a different version of Russia. It's not like the Russia we know, though. This one is full of strange things, like talking about religion in a funny way and dealing with some pretty serious stuff. It's like watching a really cool movie that makes you think. The game starts with you seeing this artwork that's kind of artsy and not what you'd expect from a regular video game. It makes you curious about what's inside. And when you start playing, you find yourself in a snowy place in Russia, playing as a young nun named Indika. At first, she's held captive by a guy named Ilya, but then they team up to go on this journey together. It's not just a physical journey, it's also about discovering who Indika really is.
The cadets.
Yeah, exactly. Come on.
I don't understand.
The big part of the story is this intense battle between Indika and the devil. What's interesting is that Indika can hear the devil talking to her in her head. It's like having a conversation with someone who's always trying to trick you. This makes Indika different from other characters because she's not perfect, she has her own struggles and flaws. When it comes to game theme, it shows off some really deep and meaningful writing. It's not just a regular video game, it makes you think about Catholicism in a different way by exploring dark themes and adding in some humor. Surprisingly, even Satan himself cracks a few jokes, which can catch you off guard. The developers say they were aiming for a mix of comedy and sadness, like what you'd find in books by Dostoevsky and Bulgakov.
No.
One way or another, there was certainly no doubt that she had to head for Spasov and not...
Now, when it comes to playing the game, it's not all about fighting with swords or casting spells. The main character, Indika, has a strong connection with the devil. When she messes up and does something really bad, the devil can change the world around her into a scary version of itself, like a hellish nightmare. But Indika can pray to make things go back to normal. So instead of using weapons, she uses her prayers to fight against the devil's tricks. To get through the scary parts, players control Indika and switch between the normal world and the hellish one by pressing a button. You have to figure out how to move around and solve puzzles in both worlds to get to the end. The puzzles are really cool because they show off the beauty of hell and the coldness of Russia at the same time. I'm not sure how many of these puzzle levels will be in the full game, but I hope there are more because they're a big part of what makes the game special. Besides the puzzles, most of the demo is spent exploring the world as Indica. You have to solve puzzles like finding keys or figuring out the best way to get from one place to another. There are also parts where you have to run away from a big scary dog, which adds some excitement to the game. Something interesting is the point system. You earn points by finding religious things or doing Catholic stuff, like lighting candles or praying. These points help you level up and unlock new abilities, but it's not clear yet how important these points will be in the full game. Even though the game's challenges might not be super tough, the way it looks makes up for it big time. It's like you're watching a really fancy movie while playing. The game creates this made-up version of Russia that's all steampunk, which means it's like old-timey mixed with futuristic gadgets. Everything looks so real and cool, like you're really there. And the steampunk stuff, like turning a motorcycle into a cool gadget, makes the world even more awesome. It's like looking into a magical mirror showing you a different world. The parts where the story unfolds and you get to explore feel like being in a really fancy movie with bright colors, cool lighting, and camera angles that make everything look dramatic. The best part visually is when Indika goes through hell. It's like seeing Catholic hell come to life with crazy red colors that make you feel both scared and amazed. But there are some things that kind of mess with the cool vibe, like the point system. It looks all old school and pixelated, which doesn't fit with the rest of the game's look. It's like seeing something from an old video game pop up in the middle of a fancy movie. It's confusing and doesn't feel right. And then there's the music, which is a big deal for someone who loves music. While the game tries to be different, some of the music choices just don't fit. They suddenly switch to old school tunes that don't match the cool vibe of the rest of the game. It's like someone changed the radio station in the middle of your favorite song. It's weird and takes away from the experience. But the voices in the game are really good, especially Indika and the devil. They say their lines perfectly, and the devil's voice is super creepy when he's being mean to Indika. It gives me chills sometimes. I'm excited to see what the full version will be like. If you're into artsy stuff, I think once they fix the music and point system, this game could be one of the best ones this year, especially because of its story.
The Abbess knows you inside out, so everything turned out just as written. Defrocked her.
So, is Indica worth playing? Given the compelling narrative, engaging gameplay mechanics, and stunning visual aesthetics of Indica, alongside its thought-provoking elements and potential as a standout title, I would rate it 7 out of 10. While the game does have some flaws, such as issues with audio experience and visual consistency, its overall experience makes it well worth playing. If you're interested in exploring an alternate 19th century Russia and immersing yourself in an art house film-like adventure, with its captivating story and unique approach, Indica has the potential to be one of the memorable gaming experiences of the year.